Alright guys, welcome back to the Hotshot Haulers YouTube channel. Don't forget to support us by smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, and helping us grow as we're on our way to our next goal is 20,000.
Interstate Enterprises.
And of course, we're getting a phone call right in the middle of shooting a video. Why would we not? So, I want to do a little talking today because I was just working on my year-end numbers, trying to get everything up till it's almost the 1st of December, trying to get everything up to date, so at the end of the year for tax time I don't have to do it all at once, and that allows me to get things or remember things that I might have forgot, and make sure all my numbers are accurate and are ready for tax season. So while doing that, I got to thinking, I was looking at some numbers, and it got me thinking about what is 2022 going to be like. We didn't think anything could get worse in 2020 with everything going on in the world, and then 2021 came around, and here we still are dealing with this. So what does 2022 have in store? Now, I want to touch on a few things, and it's mostly, is it going to be a good time to get into trucking? Now, I'm going to speak from the hotshot trucking perspective, but this can touch on any of the trucking industry, whether it be dry van, flatbed, reefer, whatever, tanker. It's all going to kind of relate, and it's going to be, is it a good idea to get into trucking in 2022? So first, we're going to touch on the equipment. If you're starting fresh, you have zero equipment, it is now the worst time to get into hotshot. The pricing of everything is absolutely through the roof, and that's just going to start, years ago the barrier to entry into hotshot trucking was so low because you could get decent equipment for a good price. You could get the loan for it or pay out of pocket for some older equipment, build up that money, get newer equipment, so on and so forth. But the used equipment is so high priced right now. Like, I'm speaking of, there's two examples that I saw the other day that is absolutely mind-blowing. One being a 2002 F350. It had the 7.3, obviously, and it had 147,000 miles on it. Very clean truck. I only stopped because of how clean it was. I was like, man, that's a good looking truck. I wondered what year it was, and B, I wondered how many miles on it. So when I looked, it had 147,000 miles, and they wanted $32,000 for that vehicle. 3-4 years ago, that same vehicle would have been a $20,000 truck, which would have been a good starter truck. For $35,000, you might as well, go buy a brand new truck. Yeah, you're going to pay double that, but you're also starting with a brand new truck with a warranty and everything on that. The other example is I saw an F450 the other day. It was a 2020. I drove by, I was on a lot, I saw it, and I was like, man, good looking truck. You don't see F450s used for sale very often, especially around me. And especially, it was a pickup, it wasn't a cab and chassis, so I stopped. And I noticed it had the black fender well, the wheel arches, I noticed it had those, so I knew it wasn't like a platinum or a limited. Well, I got out and it was an XL, which, okay, it's a work truck or whatever, that's fine, that doesn't bother me. But what bothered me was that 27,000 miles on it, and they wanted $82,000 for this truck, being an XL. If it was a platinum, I could understand that, but for $82,000 with that many miles on it, I was just absolutely mind-blowing. So barrier to entry as far as price now is tough. That may be one thing you want to think about before getting into this industry and having such a high. Next thing to think about goes along with expenses as well. The price of fuel is astronomical. I mean, the closest fuel station to my house, I live in Pennsylvania, for those of you that don't know, the closest fuel station to my house, if I didn't have a discount card, like a fleet card, I would have, it's $4.25 a gallon. $4.25 a gallon. I remember when I was early in this business and fuel had just hit $3, and I was mind blown. And I think I was still running my 2-car at that point. I knew I had to make a change to make more money to pay for the increase in fuel. It's hard to explain to regular customers when they have a set price of getting vehicles moved or whatever from you that you've got to increase your price because fuel is higher, and they just go find somebody else that's not increasing their price. But that's besides the point. But $4.25 a gallon compared to when I started, it was like $2.60 a gallon. If you would do the math on that, and I might, if you do the math on that for 100,000 miles, 10 miles to the gallon, just the difference in expenses just on fuel alone, let alone your insurance and the price of all your maintenance items are up. You can't even find, I don't run it in any of my trucks, but you can't even find Shell Rotella oil right now. They're completely sold out everywhere around me. Tractor Supply doesn't have it, AutoZone doesn't have it. Usually the best deal you can get on Shell Rotella is from Walmart, but they don't even have any on the shelves, which is mind-blowing. You just got to keep that in mind, all those expenses adding up on top of the price of equipment being so high. You're really setting yourself up with a very high overhead, and your profit margins are going to be low. But if you can, you just have to do the math to see if you can work out. Now, another reason, and I'm never going to tell anybody not to get into trucking or not to follow your dreams, whatever it may be. Like, I got made fun of for making YouTube videos when I first started from people that I know, and then they see that I have over 10,000 subscribers and how much money that YouTube brings in for me, and now they're mind blown, and they knew I could do it the whole time. So I'm never going to tell you not to chase your dreams, but the last point is just the unknown of the economy right now. I hate to see somebody, because I'm not one of those people that says like, go get rich in trucking, here's 10 steps to get rich in trucking. I know I struggled when I first started out. I really struggled at certain points where coming up with $100, $200 for stuff was difficult. So I'm never going to tell you not to chase your dreams, but the unknown economy right now, I would hate to see somebody get, all equipment, everything in $50,000 to $100,000 in debt, and then the bottom just fall out of the economy, and you quit your 9-to-5 that was saved to come over to Hotshot Trucking, and then the industry just collapses, and everybody's got to put food on the table for their family. And I would hate to be the one that was like, well, Jason said it was easy to get into Hotshot Trucking and get rich. So just those 3 things to keep in mind of getting into the industry in 2022. Now that is why I have started to look around to expand my company, which is coming with a company driver coming on board here, hopefully within the next month or 2. And I'm starting to find older equipment for myself to get my overhead down as far as possible and have reliable equipment sitting there for my drivers. But that's another video. I'm going to do a whole video on all my equipment I currently have, the mileage on it, the price I paid for it new, and what I still owe on it. So if that's something you're interested in seeing all my equipment that I own, because sometimes I forget the amount of trailers and trucks that I own, I'll show you that in the next video. So don't forget to smash the thumbs up, and we'll see you guys.